we're enriched by the moments of our lives. It's how can we actually be in them? The moment, knowing where to put your focus and knowing how to be present. Because ultimately, I think that's what makes us all the happiest. It makes us all feel that we're enriched by the moments of our lives. It's how can we actually be in them? How can we be present when you're having these milestone moments, and how can you savor it, and how can you be there in the moments of difficulty and moments of tragedy in your life as well? How can you be there for the people who are closest to you? How can you be there to process it for yourself? And when you have two things that are pulling in the most opposite directions of life, it's hard to know how to hold it all. It's always a challenge. It is the fundamental challenge. It's the art and commerce debate.
Right.
How do you make something that you care about all the time? How do you really make something that you really, really believe in? I think that's a guiding principle that keeps you grounded in your humanity and in your values. Because for us, when I say us, I'm talking about Suleika and I, we have a vision of living a creative life together. So because there's that shared value, it allows for us to have creative spaces of our own and creative spaces together. So the first step is pick the right partner, because if y'all ain't aligned on the foundational level, then it's going to be crazy. So then once you have that, which I'm blessed to have, that is the biggest and best resource of life. So once you have that, then it allows, okay, so what do we actually want to do versus what is stuff that people want us to do, or we feel pressured to do, or maybe we thought we wanted to do. And it also just is about, again, that guiding light of, if you're doing something you care about, a lot of times those other things that are distracting will be stuff that is pulling you away from the thing that you actually value. And I wanted to make music about what Suleika and I were going through, as well as music thinking about the world and humanity and how do we unify, how do we see each other better. I wanted to make something that was limitless and completely unhampered, unhindered by the genre constructs of popular music. But to show that by doing that, it doesn't have to be music that's inaccessible or experimental. It's almost like when people make things that are not adhering to these constructs, which I think actually don't exist. And if we made art, or we would just come from another planet and we were to discover music and the history of music and all its shades and colors and expressions, we wouldn't say, oh, that's R&B. Oh, that's prog rock. We wouldn't say that. We would create based upon what we were inspired to create and who we were creating with. So that's why I was like, I have a lot of friends who I've wanted to create with, a lot of people who wanted to collaborate with me. And I was thinking about the concept of this album, and a lot of the moments that I wanted to make with this album were to show not only that that's what's possible with music, but as an allegory for humanity, we can actually exist in these spaces together. So it was really a beautiful, it's almost an album that I was thinking about making mainly for children. It was something that when people listened to it from the beginning, it was meant to flow as it would if you were watching a narrative unfold on screen. We're going through the United States of America during the most pivotal election in the history of the country, arguably the history of this country. You could say that this election is really the fight to save democracy. And we're going through these areas of the country and swing states in the country, states where there's a great responsibility and there's an uneasiness that I feel. And there's a song on the album that's about this with Lil Wayne. It's called Uneasy. But it also is a way of speaking to the moment we're in and what this music and what this album and what this tour is meant to do in terms of encouraging people. I think, we always have to connect back to that humanity and being able to see each other, because right now we only see left and the right. We only see a binary, and the other side is almost inhuman at this point. We're not voting, we're not living, we're not coexisting based on logic and humanity anymore. It's this weird warped emotion and post-truthism that is out of control. And I think it's really something that I'm very, very bothered by. And I think music and art and expression has a major role to play in that. Well, we oftentimes think about it first as humanism and not as politics. So ultimately, the goal is to really inform people and comfort people and give them a space within their community to see other people who they may not normally see or probably don't agree with, and have this experience together. And that leaves the community in better standing and better harmony. And I've been doing that my entire career. Stay Human does these incredible, it's like a pop-up performance mixed with a community gathering, mixed with a processional from New Orleans. Just one of these many musical performance devices that I've created with my musicians that has this instant ability to create connection. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be going into schools and community centers. And we also will be registering people to vote. But we really don't look at things in this way of politics before we look at the humanity. We have a political point of view, but I think we're in a time where everybody's leading with that. And there needs to be some way of galvanizing everyone around the fact that if we don't get this together, we all are going to be out of here.